Hello and welcome. Today we are going to go over, we just gathered our ingredients in the last video. We're going to go over prepping and cooking our ingredients now. Okay. And by ingredients, I mean data. So let's get to it. What I'm going to start off with is I'm going to hit this icon at the top that looks like cookies stacked on top of each other. This is our data icon. And here, if I click this again on the left-hand side, I have data if I need to see it. And this split end thing, this is an ETL. We're going to go into this today. Okay. So what we have in here is we have our Google Sheets that we pulled on the last video and our calendar thing that we pulled in the last video. We're going to make something with that. All right. Let's go do it. I'm going to hit ETL at the top, which stands for extract, transform, and load. We also have a SQL version. I'll do SQL another time because it's fairly complicated, but SQL is like writing formulas in Excel. What you can do is you can write case when statements, which are like if statements in Excel to an extent, and you can say sum, give me the max, min, whatever you want from there, right? But we'll do that later. Let's do ETL instead. Looks like two split ends. So this is our kitchen. We have our ingredients. We need to put our ingredients in our kitchen. We need to do stuff with it, and we need to call it something at the end, right? So let's do this. We're going to go grab input data set on the left right here, and we're going to put in this top left corner. Now here, I'm going to say choose a data set. I'm going to find my Google Sheets one, right? And I can either type in Google Sheets. That's why putting it in the name, super helpful. Boom. And I'm going to go get my calendar one. I'm going to drag this other input data set here right underneath it. And I'm going to go to that one, calendar. All right. Now, hey, I'm going to move a little fast on this because it's a video. You can pause it, you can rewind it, you can do it again, you can listen to it to help you fall asleep, whatever you want. I'm going to move a little bit fast just so we can kind of go. So what is this stuff on the left? Well, we have options to, these are basically our tools in the kitchen, right? I can cut things down. I can replace something. I can make something all capital, which we're going to do. I can add a date to something, add a year to it. I can say I only want certain columns. I want to do a formula. I could do a bunch of stuff in here. What we're going to do, the first one, we're going to go say text formatting. I'm going to grab this, drag it to the top right. And you know what I'm going to do to make our lives easier? I'm going to make this easier for us to see. I'm going to grab this little circle and connect it to that arrow. Now here, I'm going to say what column do I want to be formatted? And it's only going to show me two because you can only capitalize text, right? You can't do it for numbers. I'm going to say this portfolio company one, and I'm going to say all uppercase. Pretty easy. Next, what I'm going to do, I am going to choose utility and select columns. I'm going to grab this. Now, select columns I use very frequently, right? So here's what we can do with select columns. You might be very tempted to say add all columns. But look, if I add all columns, it adds all this stuff. Do I really need all this stuff? I don't think I do. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, what do I actually need? I need the date, which is DT. And here I can rename it. I'm going to say date, and you're going to see why later. I'm going to put in the month name, sure, why not? And let's pull in the date name. Perfect, right? Cool. And I can move this up and down to make my life easier to see. All right, next one, we're going to combine some data. So we have a couple ways to do it. An append. An append means stack something on top of something else. So if I have a data set coming in every month from the same person and the Excel file or the CSV file looks exactly the same every month, I can tell Domo, go append these files right on top of each other and just go make it one file. Why you want to do that is an example in like I just gave. And another version would be if you get multiple data sources from different vendors, but they're all formatted the same, not a problem. That's the caveat though. The titles have to be the same. So what I mean by that is, here's an example. If one company has a file that says spend, that's the name of the column, but another company calls it cost, you have to go to select columns and rename one of them to be spend or cost. They have to be the same name, same format, case sensitivity, all that junk to just be stacked right on top of each other. Okay. A join. What is a join? So check this out. A join is a way of combining some data. So let's look at this one. Here's an example. Let's say that we have a table, a data set that says, here are my top 5 favorite cuisines: Italian, Thai, Mexican, steak. It's a cuisine in Texas, and ice cream, another great cuisine, right? And then I have my French counterpart, Lejean, and his cuisines are Thai, French, Mediterranean, ice cream, and brunch because he's un basic homme. But we have these two data sets. So what do we do with it? Well, a left join. A left join says, hey, keep everything in my file, the left file, the first file, and only give me parts from the right file where they match. That's it. So you can see here, only Thai, only ice cream matched. Only give me those two, right? Everything else doesn't even exist. A right join is the exact opposite. Keep the right table, give me everything from the left, not a problem. An inner join. An inner join says, I want you to delete any rows where there is not a match at all. So in this case, both of us, my side and Lejean's side, lost rows because we did an inner join. And there are pros and cons. Sometimes you want to do that to save on some space. You don't want duplicates. Why not? I usually try to only do left joins and then do a filter instead. But whatever, I'm getting a little complicated. I'm going to go take join data, put it right in the middle, connect the dots to the arrows. And here I'm going to say a left join. All right. And I'm going to say, what am I joining on? I'm joining on date. Remember, we formatted the term DT to be date instead. And hey, if I'm doing a left join, I'm usually going to say autofix right. Don't worry about it. What Domo's asking is, hey, you have two columns called date. What do you want to do with it? I'm going to say, just drop that column. Drop it like it's hot. All right, great. And I'm going to go grab utility, put this in again, connect it. And now I can see everything I have in here. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Okay, now check this out. We're almost done. What I could do too is I need to put an output because we did all this work. We need to call it something. And here's a pro tip. Whatever you call this, let's call this business, dashboard dudes, sources, Google, Sheets, Domo, whatever. I'm going to say this sample combined data, whatever. Whatever you do, name that ETL and your output the same thing. It's going to make your life way easier, right? And you don't have to do one data set. You could totally do multiple. You could do something like this. You could put it after this one if you wanted instead. You could do whatever you want. You can make multiple, but at least if you have one and with that matches the name of the output, it'll make searching for it much easier. Another cool thing is we can run a preview right here. Now this is a really nifty feature. If you run a preview, you can see each step along the way. Are you doing what you want to do? And if it lights up all green, that means that we've done a good job. Green is good, right? If we see a red, that means something broke. Looks good. So what I can do is, look, if I go here, I go preview. Yep, capital. Looks good. If I go here, preview. Yep, I only see 3 columns instead of the 10 that were there. And the last thing is really interesting, this settings button. If I click this, I could say, hey, go run this manually. That's what Domo will default to. You could say, go run on a schedule, meaning every day, every week, every month, whatever you want it to be. Or you could do what I do, which is go run when a data set is updated. And I'm only going to pick one. You really just don't want to pick too many because if you say, let's say that this Google Sheets updates every day at 6 a.m. This calendar updates every day at 6:01 a.m. and this whole process takes 5 minutes to run. What's happening then is it's like the train has already left the station, but there's a passenger trying to get on, and it is just tripping over itself, and it's going to break. So you don't want to schedule it where both of those data sets are constantly updating and throwing off the ETL run. Okay, so I'll say go do whenever this one is updated because in the last video I said we're updating this Google Sheet every day at 6 a.m. and that'll automatically will trigger this job to run. No pushing buttons. And then I go here, save and run, and it'll go. I already did this, so you can see, but let's go see. Yeah, this is the exact one. It ran, and how long did it take you? 14 seconds for this one to run. Cool, now I have 8.7 thousand rows of data. That's a very quick instance of what we did, but you just got to get your dexterity down. You're new into the kitchen. You're going to go be a sous chef and then the master chef. So give it a shot. I hope it goes well. And if you have questions, let me know. All right. Thanks. Bye.